We'll start this one with a disclaimer. I am not a welder, and this is not welding advice. But what this is an overview of what I consider to be the most essential skill and the most versatile tool that anybody who works with cars, trucks, motorcycles, really anything made out of metal. This is something that you need to do. You need to learn and incorporate it into your life. I'm talking about welding with a flux core welder. I am a flux core believer. I've been doing this for, I guess, about 15 years now. But I'll tell you what, I have to give you some background so you understand where I'm coming from. I learned to weld back in the 1970s when I was a teenager. And back then, MIG welding wasn't nearly as common or as accessible as it is today. Back then, a lot of welding was still done oxyacetylene. Every shop, every garage, every mechanic had a set of torches, and they had their cutting, burning head, and then they also had an assortment of welding tips. So that, you need to do an exhaust system or body work or anything. You whip out the welding tip and go for it. Tons and tons of coat hangers were consumed during this period of time. So that's where I learned, and I mastered it. I actually really loved gas welding. It was like a Zen thing. So for the first 10 or 15 years that I was welding, that's all I used, exclusively oxyacetylene. I tried MIG here or there, other people's setups, and I wasn't impressed by it. They couldn't do anything with a MIG welder that I couldn't do nicer with oxyacetylene. So I just stuck with my thing. Actually, at one point on a bet, I welded a vise to a metal table using a torch. To this day, I still have that table and vise back at the house. The vise has been beat to death. It's completely useless, but the weld held strong. So at any rate, I stuck with that. Now, in the 1990s, when I got into the nitro thing, I wanted to build my own car. So I had to learn TIG welding. And for me, TIG was a natural, because the process of TIG welding is almost identical to oxyacetylene, except instead of using the torch to create the heat, you're using a tungsten to strike an arc, and then you're feeding metal into that. So I took to TIG welding like it was nothing. And actually built a car in my home garage at the house and passed an NHRE 101B spec. That was the spec for fuel funny car back in the 1990s. So I had those skills down. They were great. Now you fast forward a few years, I moved to Tennessee. I had gotten rid of my TIG setup because there was no reason to have it anymore. I wasn't building any more race cars. But I came down with my torches, and all of my welding, everything I had to do during that period of time, I did oxyacetylene. Then at some point about 15 years ago, there was a shortage, couldn't get acetylene, and then the price just skyrocketed. It went crazy. So I said, there's got to be a better way. And I wasn't really crazy about the MIG thing, because MIG welding comes with a burden, and that's the bottle. So let me explain this. The IG in both MIG and TIG is for inert gas. And the inert gas is like argon is like a common one. The inert gas, what it does is it shields the molten metal during, you're welding and you've got a pool of molten metal. And the inert gas shields it from oxygen, because if oxygen gets into it, I know there's a contradiction with oxyacetylene, but that's another thing for another topic for another video. So the inert gas shields the weld pool. There's a couple of other drawbacks to MIG and TIG also, like for instance using them outside, using them when there's any type of breeze, that inert gas can be disrupted. So you're very limited to what you can do with MIG or TIG. Basically, you have to bring the work to the welder. So at any rate, there was an acetylene shortage, and I was like, okay, I need another way. And talked to someone, he says, why don't you try a flux core? I had never even heard of flux core before. So the difference now between MIG, TIG, and flux core is that while MIG and TIG use that inert gas, flux core uses a special wire. And the flux core wire is formulated with what becomes an inert gas as it burns. Now, I'm going to get to what the drawbacks are in a couple of minutes. But at any rate, the wire itself, as it burns, creates the shielding gas. So because of that, you can weld anywhere, anytime. You can lay down a weld in the middle of a hurricane outside, and it'll be just as good as the one that you do inside. And like I said, without the bottle, it makes it extremely portable. And 110 volt. See, most MIG welders, all TIG welders are 220. These things operate off of household current. So I says, you know, this is the thing for me. So I bought my first flux core welder, and it was one of these, a Chicago Electric. I picked this thing up, not this one. Got my first one. I think I paid like 75 or 80 bucks for it back then, and immediately learned to love it. There was a big learning curve because, again, see, MIG welding and TIG welding, and even oxyacetylene are very, you can make a very clean, beautiful weld with those, where with the flux core, there's a lot of splatter. It's not as pretty as the other two, but I don't care about pretty. I care about a strong weld. If I was a professional welder, yes, pretty is very important, right? You know, presentation, right? But I'm not. I'm a mechanic that works on his own stuff. So I don't need to make this stuff show-worthy, right? All it has to do is create a solid bond between the metals, right? Flow those metals together. That's all I needed to do. So for me, the flux core with its slag, and I'll show you. I'll get to that. It's just fine. So I've been through about 5 of these since then. Now I do still keep an oxyacetylene setup, a tiny oxyacetylene setup, just in case I ever do have to do some chromoly or anything like that, where I've got to make a really pretty weld. I'll whip that out. But I use it so infrequently, you can see the dust that's built up on this thing. You know what I mean? I hardly ever use it. But I keep it just in case. You know, just a side note, people say that you can't weld aluminum with oxyacetylene, and that's not true. Back when I was doing the nitro thing, I was hanging out one night with Nick Bonenfant, and he was a friend of Jungle Jim Lieberman's. And he was like, you know, you can always tell a jungle car if you look at the aluminum on it, because it was gas welded. Jungle Jim used to gas weld his aluminum. And I was like, that's amazing, right? Like, you know, he was like a childhood hero of mine. So I says, I need to learn how to do this. And so I taught myself how to gas weld aluminum. It can be done. But that's a whole thing for another story. So at any rate, I went through about 4 or 5 of those things. And one I had for a really long period of time, and I actually named her Fluxy. And Fluxy was with me when we started this channel, and I welded everything with that. This entire car, this car is called Slag Hammer because it was all welded together with a flux core welder, so there's slag everywhere on it. They do have anti-splatter sprays and stuff that you can use, coatings, to keep the slag from sticking to the metal. But to me, as a diehard flux core guy, it's like the slag that's around a flux weld is kind of like the oil puddle under an iron head. I mean, it belongs there. So I don't bother with it. If I had to do something pretty, then yeah, I'll take precautions to make sure this slag is minimized. But anyway, that's the versatility of flux core. Flux core burns slightly hotter than MIG. A lot of people don't realize that. You can get better penetration with a flux core welder than you can with a MIG welder. On this channel, we've welded freeze cracks on a block, successful weld. We fabricated a whole ear that was broken off of an engine block, a transmission mounting ear. Fabricated the whole thing out of just bead after bead after bead of the flux core, drilled it out, held perfectly. I'm doing this Hemi block right now. I got to get back on this. I have a bunch of damage, and we're filling in the damage with flux core. So this stuff works. It works really well. But like I said, I went through about 4 or 5 of these. When Fluxy died, man, I was heartbroken. Well, I had been through so much with that welder. So this is a replacement. I've had this one for about 3 years now, 2.5, 3 years, and she's been through hell and keeps on ticking. Now, the thing that spurred me into making this video is the other day I was home puppy sitting, And really, what can you do when your puppy's sitting except sit there and binge watch YouTube while she gnaws on your arm? So I was watching Dex J's channel. It used to be Dex's Jeeps, now it's Dex J's. This guy is great. He has like 800 Jeeps. He's a what I consider to be a world-class intuitive mechanic. You've really got to watch him in action to appreciate Dex J's. We'll put a link to his channel in the comments here or in the description here. So he wanted to try flux core welding. So he goes to Harbor Freight and he buys one of these. And this is a titanium brand flux core. Now, the thing that made me buy this is, like I said, the thing with flux core is that it's so portable, so versatile. You could take it with you anywhere. And this thing gets toted around everywhere. It's got a nice handle on it. But it's a little cattywampus. It weighs about 30 pounds. This is about half the size and half the weight. And the reason I bought this was because it has this shoulder strap. So you just find out, like, carry this thing around, you throw the strap over your shoulder and you take it wherever you gotta go. As versatile as could possibly be. Now, I'm not gonna do a review on this right now, okay? You can actually go watch Dex's video for a pretty good review on this. I am going to do a comparison between these two welders. I'm going to build a set of rock sliders for a Woods toy that we're putting together for this spring. So when I do the rock sliders, I'll do one side with this welder and I'll do the other side with this welder. And this way I'll have had some practice time with this and we can do a really good direct comparison between the two. But this is the one that I've been using, and this is the one I can recommend, like, completely without pause or hesitation. One of these. So very, very simple controls on this one in particular. Just two settings for voltage, maximum and minimum. Okay, I weld almost everything on max because everything I come across, everything I use weld on this channel. Oh, I forgot. We actually welded about 2 months ago. We welded a broken cast iron exhaust manifold back together again using this welder. So I says almost everything I just welded on max. This works for 95% of what we're going to come across dealing with cars. Sheet metal, exhaust systems, making brackets and stuff like that. This is it. And then you've got a speed control for the wire. And this setting right here, right about between 2 and 3, it's 2.5. I find that's like my default. I find that setting, that wire speed setting right there is just about perfect for what I do. But again, you know, depending on the gauge of the metal that you're working on or the situation, you can alter the speed. But like I said, that I very, very seldomly have to move the speed. So if I'm doing, like this is sheet metal, exhaust work, I'm making some brackets, like fabricating something like this real quick, you know. And this is like this is sort of a throttle bracket off of for bottle rocket here. When you need something like that that's unique, so instead of having to cobble stuff together out of odds and ends, you could just cut and weld it back together again real quick. Takes you a minute and boom, you have what you need. That one I needed a bracket that was about 3 inches higher than the factory bracket to work with all of the spacers and everything on that intake manifold. And you know, it takes a minute, just you're done. That's the beauty of this stuff. It's like any idea you have, you can execute. You need to weld a couple of tools together. You know, you need to weld a couple of wrenches together to get a job done. Boom, you can do it. You don't have to think about it. You just keep moving forward. It's the most versatile thing, and it'll save you so much time, so much energy, so much aggravation. And on top of that, it allows you to use your imagination a little more effectively. So if you see a part or a system that okay, they don't make that, I can make that myself. Now, it does have limitations and it does have some drawbacks. So I'm going to show you. The wire burns, like I said, as the wire is burning, creates its own shielding gas, and that shielding gas leaves like a residue. So here's an example of it that I haven't cleaned up. So I welded these brackets onto the frame rail here, and you could see the brown, okay? It'll come off. You can see this brown over here. That's the residue that's left over from the shielding gas. And of course, these little beads, there's like lots of little beads, and that's the splatter that comes from the flux core. But again, they make products to prevent that splatter from sticking. If I was looking for pretty, I'd use it. I really don't care about pretty, I just care about effective. I care about quick and effective. So if you really want to make it pretty, you can. But like I said, this entire car was built, this entire car, all this, the floor, everything, the roll bar, you name it, this was all welded together with flux core. I know, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. It's slag hammer. So, cost-wise, these currently sell for about $115, I believe. They went up recently about 10 bucks. I paid 105 for this. Now they're 115 as of yesterday, last night when I bought this one. This one out the door with tax was like 165 bucks. Okay, now put this into perspective now, okay? If you have a couple of buddies come over and you order Chinese food, it's gonna cost you 160 bucks, okay? Think about that. There is absolutely no excuse on earth for you as a gearhead, as a mechanic, as a hot rodder, as whatever you are. There is no excuse on earth for you to not go out and buy one of these things and learn how to use it. I have taught countless people how to weld with one of these. And I'm telling you, like, from zero skills, from never welding anything, to being able to effectively stick two pieces of metal together, the process takes about an hour. You know, from zero to the basics, so that you can build, your skill level from there. It takes about an hour. There's no excuse for you to not do it. This is the single most valuable, the single most versatile tool any mechanic can have. And even if you've already got a good setup, if you've got a good MIG setup, if you've got a good TIG setup, there's still no reason to not have one of these. I know I sound like a salesman for, I'm like I represent the flux core industry, but I don't. Nobody's ever paid me for any of this stuff. Even if you're an established welder, there is absolutely no reason to not have one of these for those jobs that you can just run out in the field real quick. You know what I mean? You don't have to move everything around to get the car or vehicle, or whatever, to your welder. There's no reason to not have one of these. You can't just run on the fly, make a quick weld, and head home. Fantastically versatile thing. If I only had one tool, if I could only have one tool to get, to make a living with, let's say, that would be it. That would be it. If YouTube took a dump tomorrow and a tornado wiped out everything I owned and left me with $100 in my pocket, I'd go buy one of these things and start building a new life, because you can do it with that. So like I said, nothing profound. I just wanted to throw this out there. I can't wait. Tonight I'm going to start playing around with some scrap metal with this thing, get a feel for it. And like I said, when I do the rock sliders, we'll do one side with the Chicago Electric, and we'll do the other side with the titanium brand and see which one works best. And I think that's about it, right? I hope you got something out of that. Seriously, you have zero excuse to not go out there and get one of these things. And I will absolutely positively guarantee it'll pay for itself the first project or the first build you get involved in. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.